till death to unify the body. It happens by itself when we die, but unfortunately, it happens and then we're gone. We don't have time to savor it. So can we do it earlier? Can we do it now? Can we already be doing it? We have already been doing it since the start of this class today. We've been unifying the moods, making the 5-point connection, getting the focal point away from the head into a different distribution so that all the parts have voices. And that is enormously helpful to dethrone the other mind. Because if we are always inhabiting the domain of the other mind, then it's easier for it to take over. But if we have many other voices playing out and we are distributed, then we have multiple resources to give us reference. So keep that in mind. What happens to sorcerers when they pick up that hidden option of death is that they turn into inorganic beings, very specialized, high-speed, inorganic beings, capable of stupendous maneuvers of perception. Sorcerers enter them into what the shamans of ancient Mexico called their definitive journey. Infinity becomes their realm of action. This is a very abstract proposition. There's a force within us that is independent of our physical form, and they call it inorganic state, just to denote that it's awareness without physical form. But that awareness has a continuum on this side of life and on the other side after we die. We can access this integration and then bring it forward throughout the passage to the other side. So this is the ultimate abstract pursuit, everyone, for freedom, to liberate our mind to our true mind. Don Juan had guided me to accept the idea that infinity was a force that had a voice and was conscious of itself. So here we go into what really gets exciting. Once we can identify when we are not in our true mind and we have the intent, the means, the force to not accept it and to go beyond it, to push it out, then we are at the doorway of the inner voice. That can be a feeling, doesn't have to be an actual voice, but it's our true self speaking to us, operating. Consequently, I continue, he had prepared me to be ready to listen to that voice and act efficiently, but without antecedents, using as little as possible the railings of the a priori. So all the manual of beliefs and certainties and how things are and supposed to be, and he or she and me and us, the least possible of that, all of that, they call that the a priori, right? What exists before this moment, the least of that. So we can be ready to listen to that voice and act efficiently, because the less baggage we are, the more rapidly we can act upon that voice. That's the exciting part, everybody. Through the recapitulation, we're going to be then digging into just how to recognize when we are out of ourselves and then be in a readiness mode to listen to the true voice. So what is it? Let's go into a little bit of some self-investigation. What is it in us, right? Here we have our foreign mind and the true mind. And if we would position ourselves right in the middle of it, you know, we can be pulled to one or we can reconquer and go enter into the other one. But there's a zone where we are in between, right? We could go one way or we go the other way. And that zone is a useful one because we can see what pulls us in one way or the other. So the question for us right now is, and I'll open your notebooks because this is going to be a moment for you to investigate a little bit. What are the conditions in me that bring forward each of the two minds? So I'm here in between the bridge, in the area between both. If I go left, I go into one. If I go right, I go into the other one. What are the conditions usually? Let's start with what pulls me into my foreign mind. What are the things where I lose myself, where I am triggered into forgetting myself? What kind of things? So I want you to make use your notebooks and go, okay, what conditions, what things in diet, in schedule, in interactions, in types of approaches that I already know, I can already identify that most of the times, boom, I get pulled into my foreign mind, my outside of myself. I go into reaction mode, I go into certainty mode, I go into judgment mode, I go into like I'm just a slave of this thinking. What are the things? So take a few moments, just dig in and write me down a few elements. Begin to map the conditions. Because, and here's the quote for us when we start, we must identify the foreign installation in order to dethrone it. So let's take a few minutes to work on this. Let's do a little active recapitulation. So drop what you have there for a second and then just sit and close your eyes. I'll guide you with a voice. So basically, we just kind of identified a variety of situations or conditions of the environment in our daily life, where typically we go into a trail and we go towards our other mind. We get lost there. But here we are in a moment, kind of like watching that before it happened. We are kind of like in this place in between, right, where we are, thanks to the intent we put so far in the class today, thanks to the movements themselves, we are capable of like of watching the phenomena of how it happens. So watch yourself as if you are, when you are setting up a scene in the recapitulation where you're watching the scene play out like a movie, right? So you're watching how it plays out. You can take any of these situations that stands out for you, any one of them, or you can look at all of them as a whole if there's a commonality. But you want to observe how your mind begins to get lost. That amazing vista where you see it going south, you see it going towards prison, judgment, certainty. Before you are already in there, and when it's very or much more difficult to kind of open up your eyes and crawl out. So you see how you do that, how you lose your mind over and over. That's the dance that we do. We lose our minds over and over as we reconquer it over and over. Are we mostly in lost state or are we mostly in recovery state? But it's a dance. And I want you to have the privilege to stand in an abstract space in your minds right now and see, feel how your mind gets lost in your daily life as it is happening. And imagine that you could have an energetic leash, like a leash of a dog. And from where you are, you